Hello, and welcome to episode 35 of the MisanthroPod. I'm Snipe, and as always, I'm joined by Wib. Say hello.
Hello.
And I'm also joined by the Drumblebum. Say hello.
Hello.
So, what have you guys been up to this week? Oh, man who I live with, and man who I talk to a lot.
Well, I'll tell you what, shall we let the one who doesn't, the one person of the three of us that doesn't live in the same house
Anymore.
kind of introduce this?
Okay.
Okay.
That's you, Matt.
Okay.
I'm aware I did introduce that in a really convoluted and broken... my English was so broken and convoluted there that I understand you didn't understand.
Yeah.
Drummer Matt, what have you been up to, dear?
Yeah, not too much. As always.
That's fine.
We finished off our stint. Did I mention it last time? We were house sitting in a big giant house.
You mentioned it to us, not sure if you mentioned it on the podcast.
We were house sitting for our adoptive French parents in their big giant house while they were on holiday with their various
Mama
cats and things.
Papa.
And it was great, but I didn't have a computer there.
It really seems like you've got no luck with, oh yeah, I'm going to go do this, there is no computer there.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So I haven't played any of this Overwatch summer thing that's going on. So
Oh my god, it's so good.
yeah,
it's so good.
I have heard.
You get that McCree skin, that's the worst thing in the world and I love it.
I don't know if describing the summer games as being the best thing ever is really
Lucio
accurate.
Ball and that McCree skin I hate that I have and I love.
They literally just added in the same game mode that was in last year, but made a competitive version of it, and then added in a skin where McCree's not wearing a lot.
Which I hate and love. But Lucio Ball is deceptively like the football. Drama Matt.
Is that like two games you've been playing that are vaguely sport related then?
What? No,
I have been getting gradually more and more irritated with it because people who play it don't understand that football positions actually are there for a purpose.
Matt, I swear to fucking God. Okay, you hate football.
I know!
And...
but if you're gonna do
Stop this! This is like every time we see your fucking brothers, they're going, Rocket League. let me, you need to play more of it. And you haven't played it since. Almost like a subconscious rebellion. You're digging your heels in, just so it's deliberately not football. And then you're playing Lucio Ball going, fucking stick to your side! No! I'm like, the fuck? Who is this person?
No, it's just because people are just... I keep going into games, and then I'll be against a team that actually understands the basic concept of the game.
Because the matchmaking is terrible, and it keeps putting a full group of people against three randos.
Yeah, and then the people I'll be with are just like, oh no, we don't need someone to stick around the goal. Like, no, we'll just all hang around the opposition's goal, and that's fine. Also, none of us will stick to any particular area. So...
Also, the offside rule.
Oh man, fuck the offside rule.
Yeah, I have no. I'm piecing together what this mode is, but I actually have no idea. I assume it's football, but in Overwatch.
It's like Rocket League. So you get 3 Lucios on one side, 3 on the other.
Oh, okay.
You can't you can boop. And you can speed boost, and your ultimate, instead of healing everyone, gives you a massive speed boost. There's a ball, and you've got to get it in the goals. That's Lucio Ball. It's a lot of fun.
It is probably the closest thing to compare it to is something like Rocket League.
Yeah.
I mean, you could compare it to football, but I mean, mechanically, how it you interact with it is very Rocket League-esque.
Okay. I'm just imagining Lucio's horror as he's just teleported into the stage and looks left and looks right and just sees 2 other versions of himself. And it's like, oh my god, am I a clone? Are you clones? Am I real?
Anyway, what else have you been not doing? As the case may be.
So I haven't played any computer games, so I used the chance to catch up on a book. Full on old school. I got it in a loot box and I did that for a while ago.
We're still talking about Overwatch.
Yeah, no, loot box is Loot Crate.
I know.
I got so confused.
Yeah,
I was like,
sorry.
what?
Yeah. Hang on. What's the one that isn't sponsoring me?
All of them.
Yeah.
The dicks.
But
you can change that. Email Snipe and Wib.
Email specifically Drumblebee at Snipe and Webplay.
Specifically Drumblebee.
Ludicrate, send your emails to specifically Drumblebee at snipeandwebplay@gmail.com.
Yeah.
Don't worry, we'll figure it out.
And then I won't mention that I cancelled it because I got bored because it kind of got a bit shit.
Yeah.
From what I've seen of like unboxing, it did get like.
It's great, but you just end up with a load of tat.
Yeah, this is the thing.
I don't know. Like I think it'd be better if you could, just get it occasionally. I just end up with shelves full of stuff, and I was like, well, I get 3/4 of the references, but some I don't, and then you just end up with a load of stuff and feeling guilty about it.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, what I do is not get Loot Crate and then just go to like discount stores and then just buy the stuff from there.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think I got about 6 of them. But anyway, the point is, I got Ready Player One. This is probably quite a few years ago now. And I haven't got around to reading it, mostly because the only books I've read since I checked this, December 2012, is Game of Thrones. It's taken me that... I got them for Christmas in 2012, and it's taken me until a week before this series started to finish them.
Jesus.
Because they're really good to read, and they are really well written, and the characters are excellent, and I recommend them. But they're kind of hard going.
Yeah.
Like, there's just a lot going on, so you can get into it, but then as soon as you have a few days break, because, whatever happens and you don't read it for a few days, it's quite intimidating to get back into, because you're like, what the shit's happening? So, long story short, I haven't read a book that isn't Game of Thrones, or a Song of Ice and Fire series book, since 2012. And I'd forgotten how good other books can be. Like, I don't mean that at a dig at the Game of Thrones books, because they're excellent, but like I said, they're just a bit difficult sometimes.
Yeah.
And it's just, Ready Player One was so easy. I read it in about 2 days, I think.
Oh, dang.
Like, you just sort of fly through it and then don't sleep overnight because you don't want to stop flying through it.
Yeah, I get you.
And so I got prompted to read it and reminded that it existed and that I owned it, in fact, when I saw the trailer for the new film that's coming out.
Oh, yeah. Isn't that something to do with Spielberg?
Yeah, Spielberg's directing it. I don't know if he was always going to, but he is now. And he's taking... Because there's a few... Basically, the whole book is like pop culture references, in essence.
Memes.
No, not memes. It's not that bad. It somehow manages to do it without being annoying.
You see, I think that's the thing. I've been kind of put off, like, looking into it, because when I hear things about it, it sounds really tedious.
Yeah, it's really not. It's somehow, I don't know how. It's like, it's all, in essence, it's a big Easter egg chase thing, treasure hunt thing.
Yeah.
Which is quite, so you just read it and then they get the next clue and they try and work it out, and it's kind of like, ooh, I wonder how this works. So, yeah, that's why you end up flying through it. But it's all based around the fact that this guy had quite a big obsession with, like, he grew up in, like, the 80s. So he grew up playing 80s computer games and 80s TV shows and stuff. So all of the puzzles are based around things like that, which means that the whole world who's trying to find this, because the prize is, like, life-changing, so the whole world who's trying to find this thing, like, 80s, it's set in, like, 2047 or something. But everyone's into 80s culture, because that way they'll know about how to do the puzzles.
Okay.
So, like...
This honestly is just sounding like a kid-friendly Highlander, because they all get a big prize at the end.
Yeah, like, I saw the trailer and I was like, well, that looks a bit... It's all CGI and it's all a bit, like, in your face. And I was like, meh, whatevs. But I was like, well, I've got the book, I'll give it a try. And actually, now I'm quite excited for the film, because it's all like... Do you know anything about it?
No.
So, in essence, it's set, in the 2040s or something, and VR, basically, is excellent. And they've made... one company's made this, like, it's called the Oasis, and it's like a big, I guess, I'm trying to think of something that's similar to now, in essence. Do you remember PlayStation, what was it called, Home? The one where you kind of went in, then you could go and do other things?
Unfortunately, yes, I remember.
It's kind of, it sounds like a good version of that, sort of. Like, you go in and it's like a big open space where it originally started a bit as an RPG, so you can, like, you level up and you can get items, and it can be either magic, fantasy-based, or tech-based. But then it's expanded to the point where it's like, there's worlds for everything, so there's like a World of Warcraft world within that game, which is basically...
It sounds almost Second Life-ish, but not the
Yeah,
worst.
there you go, that's probably a better example. I just kind of forgot that existed.
That's okay, I try to forget.
And yeah, there's like, people have made planets where it's like, Westeros from Game of Thrones, and people have made planets where it's Middle Earth, and people have made planets where it's like Firefly, and people have, or like systems where it's Firefly, and like people have just sort of reenacted or remade games so people can like play them. But then you get this like VR goggles, but they like beam it straight onto your eyes, so it like looks like it's like fully immersive. And yeah, then this guy, the guy who made it, dies and leaves a Easter egg somewhere within the game, which wins all of his money from making it, basically. So everyone gets into what he was into, which is all 80s stuff. And that explains it. It's not the best way of explaining it, but I'm trying not to give away any spoilers or whatever.
No, that sounds pretty interesting, actually.
Yeah.
To be honest, it sounds better than... Because I think the thing is it's one of those things that when people describe it to you vaguely because they don't want to give stuff away, quite often it just sounds kind of weirdly, like, cynical. Like, almost it is search engine optimization as a story. Like, if we mention all of these video games in the same place, then all the people will buy it.
Yeah. No, I see. You see, to me, reading it through, I was kind of a bit expecting that, but then actually I didn't really know that much about it. So I was like, when I was reading it, it does come across as the guy who wrote it. I think it was his first book, and it definitely comes across as he's just a fan of these things. And it comes across as just kind of really well written fan fiction almost, but not fan fiction because it's not like actually using it. Just mentions the thing and saying the universe that this is set in was really cool, or this thing from this thing's cool, but it doesn't like actually use any of it, so it's not actually fan fiction. It's just occasionally like the ship he flies around in is a Firefly class ship because that's what he won from doing some quest somewhere and he thought it was cool, so that's the ship he chooses to fly around in. And then it doesn't really go in any more of it into that. I don't know, I really enjoyed the book. I highly recommend.
Okay.
And it justifies the film because the film looked a bit like a CGI clusterfuck, but if it's all set in a virtual reality world where like the normal people in it are like wizards and whatever, like it kind of makes sense that it would be CGI. So I'm like, oh, maybe it won't be too bad.
Yeah, hopefully it'll be good.
So yeah, I'm quite looking forward to it. And Spielberg, because there's some references to Spielberg films in it because they were surprisingly enough quite a big part of the 80s. He's intentionally chosen to like take out all of his references from the film because he's like, that's just that's a bit too much blow my trumpet.
That's a bit like autofellatio.
Yeah, so he's taken out all of them. But I just hope they're allowed to, because I know in a book you can reference whatever you want, basically.
Really?
Pretty much. You can write a book. It's not the same because you're not using like the image rights of something. You're just mentioning that something exists.
Yeah.
So you can do it. Whereas if you want to show that thing in a film, you need the image rights to it, which means whoever owns it has to let you. So I don't know how it's going to work in terms of whether they'll have to cut some stuff because some people will be dicks and not let them mention that it exists or whatever.
I imagine it would be one of those movies where the lawyers who track down or who get all like the rights signing off like things that they go through all that. I imagine they just take like are looking through the script with their head in their hands, like they've sleeves rolled up, their ties like undone. Five cigarettes on the go at the same time.
Yeah,
they're just these people are just wrecked human beings.
Well, worst comes to worst, all they have to do is like, oh, thank you, Billy. But I'm just so tired after that game. I think I'll have a nice refreshing can of Cackle Cola. And then everyone just looks really awkward for a second and then it just moves on. I should write a book.
Excellent. Cackle Cola. Email us at cacklecola. Wait, hang on.
At actually, specifically Drumblebee at sniperwithplay@gmail. I'm really angry. I can't make that a legitimate email address.
You could have specifically Drumblebee.sniperwith, right?
Or I could literally just write the word "at," but I want it to be the @ symbol.
Okay, yeah.
So it's like.
I'm totally going to set that up. Specifically Drumblebee at sniperwith at
Gmail. Everyone email him pictures of bees. Because bees are nice.
I'm definitely going to set that up and see what happens.
You're going to get so many dick pics, dude. Holy shit.
But yeah, I recommend reading it. I'll bring it back. There's a couple of people here who want to borrow it because I basically sat on the sofa. There's an outside sofa which was quite nice. So I sat outside for like 2 days at this other house just reading this book and didn't talk to anyone. So people are like, oh, so is it good then? I was like, yes.
No, I just hate all of you.
So, but they should be done with it by the time I come back in October. So I'll bring it back and chuck it to you guys if you want to read.
Oh, thank you.
You'll get through
Sounds
it
good.
pretty quickly. So,
The last time I read a book from cover to cover was, well, not the Witcher one, because let's be honest, let's ignore the Witcher ones. The FX9 Metal Gear novelization.
Yeah.
That was a good book.
Honestly, I've had a similar thing with the Game of Thrones stuff you had, but with reading through Lovecraft's complete bibliography.
okay, yep.
And I'm currently still chipping away through Mountains of Madness.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah.
didn't you finished the Dream Quest at Unknown Kadath and basically lost the will to live?
Yeah, that's a bad one.
Because it's the fucking worst thing in the world.
But in slightly brighter news, because you're talking about the Ready Player One movie, we went to see a movie.
Ooh.
We went outside.
in
We
real
went
life?
outside and everything. Yeah.
Wow. You mentioned Second Life, so I'm starting to think you might have gone to see it in that.
Dude,
I mean, it is a movie that I'd already seen.
I hadn't seen it.
So in the UK, there was for one day on the 10th of August a single showing around the country of Shin Godzilla, the latest Japanese Godzilla film.
And that was the day before your birthday.
It was the day before
so
my birthday.
I treated you.
Yeah.
So I'm the best wife.
Did you mention this a while ago and you said it was only being shown in Glasgow or something?
Oh no, that was another showing. That I just had one random showing.
Okay.
I think it was last year sometime at some film festival.
Okay, fair enough. So you didn't go to Glasgow?
No.
No. This was just it was shown around the country at various theatres. I think lots of the showcase ones were showing it.
How was it in the cinema? Was it everything you hoped it would be?
It was better. Thanks. I think I mentioned I won't talk too much about the movie because I did talk about it a few months back. I think.
Yeah, people are sick of hearing you talk.
Well, there is that. But
Look a bit of a douche now, actually.
You've got a problem if people are sick of you guys talking.
well, yeah. But yeah, the version I saw was on the internet, and it was the airline version that got kind of leaked out there.
Cut out all the dicks and casual racism.
There wasn't much of that, admittedly.
That was a big sigh.
Because he's fed up of my shit, that's why.
I'd like to just get to my point.
Well, not in the airline version, you won't.
Yes. But yeah, so I saw that version, and it had various bits cut out, but they weren't very expertly cut out, so you'd hear hard cuts of music occasionally.
Oh.
And
Goody.
so seeing the full unedited version, so seeing the little scenes that it cut out, added more context into a few bits and pieces. And whilst I still maintain that it's not the best Godzilla movie or anything, and there are definitely ones that are more entertaining, but it was the Godzilla movie that needed to be made. Because if they'd have just made another Godzilla movie that wasn't doing the weird shit that it does, because if you don't know, Shin Godzilla's fucking weird.
It's pretty fucked up. Which I think actually makes it very good.
And it's mostly a critique on the Japanese government's ability to respond to crisis in the Fukushima nuclear disaster. It's mostly a commentary on that, but using Godzilla.
Wow.
A lot of it is kind of spending time in the big fancy buildings with the Prime Minister and discussing should we release this statement? What should we say in this statement? This has happened. Yeah. How long should we leave it? A lot of it is political kind of how do we deal with the public? Having meetings about having meetings about having meetings about dealing with Godzilla. Yeah, and that sounds ridiculous, but it's actually incredibly engaging. The main character is a guy who I watched a TV drama called I'm Your Housekeeper Mita or something. I can't remember it exactly. And he was the dad in that. And I kind of when he popped up on screen and I was like, oh shit! Oh yeah, we're in good hands. Really good actors.
Apart from the Americans that were
from the Americans, but then again, this is the thing. If you're watching a movie in a different language, you can't really tell. If you can't speak the language, you can't really tell if the person's a bad actor. Not like a regular bad actor. There are occasions when someone can be so bad you can tell. There's a guy in the original Rodan movie who was fucking terrible, and even though he's speaking Japanese, you can totally see how bad he is. Yeah, but for the most part, like the little nuances of maybe not perfect acting are kind of lost. So yeah, there's like a couple of like American guys talking English, and it's just kind of like
They sound like video game actors from the late 90s.
Yeah. We need to do something about Godzilla. Godzilla is a menace.
Yeah.
You're just like, alright, okay. I'm glad it doesn't harp on those. And like, they have a woman in it.
Do you want some mustard to go with your ham?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, they have like a lady in it who, I think she's supposed to be kind of like, one of her parents is American.
Yeah.
And she, like, occasionally she'll just speak English. And it does take you aback because her accent isn't particularly perfect. So you like they'll just start having conversations like, oh, so how are you today? It's like, I'm fine, thank you very much. And you're like, okay. Yeah, that was needed to be in English, that's fine. But you don't see much of Godzilla. You see it's a lot of reactions to Godzilla, and I thought that was fantastic.
It basically did the thing that the 2014 Legendary Godzilla was trying to do, except the stuff that was happening that wasn't Godzilla was actually interesting in this one.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But, like, oh god, the different Godzilla forms were pretty spoopy. I mean, I've not made it a secret that Kamada-kun fucking terrifies me. It's the creepiest, most horrible thing. Being exposed to that, and like a 20-foot screen, didn't help much, if I'm honest. But I found it less scary because they because it bleeds a lot.
Yeah.
It's kind of wiggly wooing through the
You
street.
didn't see it in one of those like 4D sensory. They blow wind at you and spray with water.
they just start spraying me with HP sauce. Yeah,
Fill the cinema like waist deep with like ketchup or whatever.
like warm ketchup. Yeah. No, thankfully, no, that wasn't a thing. But like, and just seeing kind of like wiggly woo about, and then just see all this blood go like pour out of its gills, and you're like, oh, that makes me feel bad.
I still think he's adorable.
You're a fucking weirdo. But you know what? I'm gonna agree to disagree because you think I'm a freak for thinking the human alien from Resurrection is cute.
Yeah, the human alien from Alien Resurrection is horrifying.
I think it's cute. He's good. He's like, Mama. I think he's so cute. But okay,
Yeah.
Kamada-kun is still fucking worse. I don't care what you say, but fine.
But anyway, it's still a decent movie. I
Yes.
think this after Godzilla goes on, because I'm just gonna spoil a little thing for you. Godzilla has a rampage.
No.
Oh no!
After the peak of that rampage, where he does the whole atomic breath thing, and it's the coolest shit.
That is actually really fucking badass.
After that part, I think the movie does kind of spin its wheels a little bit, and it carries on with the bureaucracy thing, but thematically, a lot of that should have fallen away, and I think you could cut large segments out of that, and the movie would be stronger for it. But
I agree, but I mean, it wasn't a deal breaker for me. I still thought that was thoroughly enjoyable, and I had a very good few tense moments after that as well.
Yeah.
I will say, I think this movie communicated very well the catastrophic loss of life that would be involved with something like that.
yeah,
Because it doesn't harp on it like, oh mother, I hope we see Daddy again sometime
You mean
soon.
like the
There, Yugi, you'll be fine.
Like the 1954 Godzilla literally does.
It's a bit, yeah. But no, I thought it was very mature with that. Like, you do see like a family packing and being like, we need to evacuate, and then Godzilla's like smacks his dick on the fucking thing. And then it just knocks it down, and obviously those people are dead, and that's it. They're gone.
In my head, full-grown Godzilla's dick is just a slightly smaller version of Kamada-kun.
Oh, fuck off! Spewing blood everywhere, yeah? From its gills. The glands are just spewing fucking viscous life.
So to move on from
No, Dragomat said it, and I'm gonna make him fucking regret this.
I'll just finish a thought from earlier,
Okay.
which is that the as I said before, the movie was, if they'd have just made another Godzilla, just another Godzilla movie, like say just another Godzilla 2000 or like a Godzilla versus King Ghidorah or Godzilla versus Mothra, the couple of like 90s sort of ones. If they'd have just made another movie like that, though I would have liked it, I don't think it would have reignited interest in the series by doing something that was kind of weird and unusual and doesn't really fit with any of the other Godzilla movies. I think they made people more interested to see the series carry on again.
Yeah.
So even though it might not be the best Godzilla movie, it was the one needed right now.
Yeah, and I mean, like, I kind of went into it with no real expectations. I mean, I'd seen a lot of, the silly Godzilla movies, like, he teabags enemy monsters and other stupid shit like that, and I was just like, it's probably going to be a bit daft or what, and then I went in and it was, like, really mature, really adult, and very, very well portrayed, and I was like, well, bugger me with a bread knife, that's actually fantastic. So I had a lot of fun. You right, Drama?
Well, I was reacting to what you said.
What, the bread knife?
Yeah. That's awful.
Sorry. I think it's just thinking of, Kamakura and how grim the fucking movie is, so I kind of had to be grim with my idioms.
Yeah.
Actually, speaking of the cinema, we're also going to go and see Terminator 2
Yes!
in what will be the 29th?
29th of August, 2017.
Great.
20 years after the 29th of August, 1997. Judgment Day. I am so fucking hyped for this. It's 3D, which is fine. But, oh my god, that is
in the loosest possible sense of the word fine.
It's fine.
Actually, weirdly, I realised that though I've seen many things in what modern 3D is, because I've been to like the theme parks in Florida, and they've been using that style of 3D for a long time to do little like kind of short films where they tend to do it where you have the being splashed with water and stuff at the same time. So I was aware of the tech, so I just never bothered to actually go and watch a 3D movie at the cinema.
Technically 4D. No.
So I realised this is going to be the first one I'm actually going to go and see, which, at least it's a movie that's good when it's not in 3D. So.
Yeah, and it's not film full 3D, so it's not like, we're just going to slow-mo have someone chuck a banana at the camera or fucking whatever.
I mean, it's like, our TV is a 3D TV, we've just never used it.
Yeah, I'm not interested in 3D stuff. I mean... If it had just been 2D, I would be very happy, and it would have been like a $5 cheaper. But whatever, and like we've got the tickets where you get the glasses as well.
Okay, I was going to say you need to find someone who's been and has the glasses, so you don't have to pay extra when you get there for the glasses.
I've got an insider card, so I got it cheaper anyway.
Oh, no.
So, but yeah, I've had like a pile of birthday money that I've just not spent. So I'm like, fuck it. I like Terminator 2 is probably my favourite movie of all time.
Oh yeah, if it's 3D, if it's that favourite film ever in 3D or nothing.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't care. I need to see that movie on the big screen because I love it so fucking much.
I'm thinking how much I enjoyed seeing when the special editions of Star Wars came out in 1997. Like, how much I enjoyed being able to go and see these things that I never thought I'd be able to see at the cinema.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because, like, whilst, yes, going to see stuff at the cinema is kind of stupidly expensive.
Yeah, but you get the big, pretty, huge screen and the big, fancy sound.
It is an experience that is different to watching it at home, and it is a superior experience, generally speaking.
Yeah.
Especially if it's, like, an action thing, like... If it's like a romantic comedy, I couldn't give a shit where I watch it. But like, a big action movie, the cinema is so superior. Yeah. So being able to see something you never thought you'd be able to see there is great. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to go to the Godzilla one, because I was like, I'm never going to get a chance to see a Japanese Godzilla movie at the cinema again, ever, probably. Yeah. So, let's just fucking do that.
Yeah, so I am so fucking hyped for that. Like, I was quite surprised because when we went to see Shin Godzilla, that, like, it was shown, it's like, oh yeah, in this cinema on the 29th of August you can see this, and I just fucking lost my shit. I was just like, I just turned around and started shaking Webb really fucking hard. I was like pointing hurriedly at the screen as if he couldn't fucking see it.
It's like, I'm in a dark room and the only source of light is the screen. I'm aware, thank you.
I'm like, yeah, but did you see? It's Terminator 2, that movie I like. And you're like, really, dear? I could not fucking notice. So yeah, I'm pretty sure I bugged everyone in like a 30-foot radius of me because I just literally lost my shit.
The other funny thing about going to see Godzilla at the cinema was hearing all people having conversations in the crowd who were all having the sort of conversations that I could be involved in, but wouldn't because of social anxiety.
Yeah.
But them talking about like, oh yeah, so what monster rights does Legendary currently hold to make the
They've
movies?
got Ghidorah, don't they?
They have Ghidorah, Mothra, and Rodan, as well as Godzilla.
Anyway.
But yeah, having conversations about that kind of stuff, and it's just like, oh, that's really nice to hear other human beings have that conversation.
It was really weird, but really nice. I mean, like, I did notice that in the cinema, it was deathly quiet. It's just like, the moment the movie started, there was nothing. Like, no one spoke. And I was like, this is fine. This is good. It's like, you can tell people are really wanting to watch this. And I just thought that was nice.
Were they all your age, our age-ish?
We sat next to a couple of, I'd say, maybe 14-year-olds.
Okay.
Yeah, it was quite a range from quite young to
Yeah.
being, obviously older fans of Godzilla as well.
Yeah,
So
there was a good few our age, but there were a few older and a few younger. Because on the left of us was a couple of 14-year-olds, on the right of us were a couple of older guys.
yeah.
Probably about 40, 50, something like that.
So in the 6 seats we were in, we were like the complete demographic range.
Yeah.
Awesome.
But no, very, very enjoyable.
In my head, it was just like 4 other copies of basically you two.
Just palette swaps of us. Oh god, that's a nightmare and a half.
We could actually talk about a couple of video games we played, because technically this podcast is about video games.
Yeah, but to be fair, like, life has been hectic, everyone, so sorry?
Yeah, we've been looking for trying to move house.
Yeah,
so,
and that's really, really aggressively stressful, because we're trying to move, basically to the city.
Yeah.
So places are going fast. We've got to aggressively get our feet in the door, and it's just fucking exhausting. So that's been taking up a lot of our time.
Well, it will be nice when we get to film in a room that doesn't have that weird off-white pink wall that's behind us in every video.
You mean it's got like about 40 years of fucking nicotine stains on it?
Yeah, and
I keep cleaning it, and they just keep coming back. It's like, I don't smoke no more. Who the fuck is breaking into my house at night and smoking at that wall?
The worst part about that wall is that it makes colour grading impossible.
It's horrible.
Because everything looks washed out against it.
But
It's horrible.
we'll figure it out.
Yeah. But video games.
Yeah, played some Sniper Elite for the channel. Sniper Elite 3.
Yeah.
V3. Fucking whatever.
It's just called 3.
Oh my god, everything
The
is
second one
dumb.
was called V2 because it's referencing V2 rockets.
Yeah, I know, it's clever.
Wow,
The
you
third
say
one is
clever.
just called 3.
Nah.
Yeah.
It was a thing. But yeah, I completed that with a mate, and that was a lot of fun.
Then we did a video on it.
And we did a video
where I
on
was
it.
bad at it.
You were, yes. I see, what I do is I tend to incapacitate people, and then
Right.
that draws out their bodies, so then you kill them. It's pragmatic, but I have been
Yeah.
informed it's fucking psychopathic. But it is a video game, so it's okay. I'm not a weirdo.
I would like to take this opportunity to publicly apologise for not shooting Nazis in the balls.
Yeah, to be fair, and on like, coming to Wibb's defence here, it's quite hard to land ball shots.
I did try
It's
when we were
difficult.
making the video. I tried a handful of times, and I couldn't find the sweet spot where the nards were resting.
Okay, so I'm going to say this as someone who has significant more experience here. Like, not pulling rank, just saying. Balls are jiggly. So, like, like Dead or Alive or whatever with boobsicles.
Yeah.
That's how balls work in video games. That's why they're so hard to hit.
So that they're moving around too much.
Yeah, they've been jiggle physics up the fucking arse. Or
Oh, well, that sounds very
balls
bad.
up the arse. But, so, these guys are just walking around and their nuts are just flapping around like fucking crazy. So it's really hard.
Are you saying that
What?
behind the trousers they
Yes.
have jiggle-boned the balls just so that they provide an accurate target?
Yeah. That's what balls do in real life, right? You guys walk down the street and there's literally just like flapping. That's the noise it makes. That's why you guys have to. That's why there are men and women's trousers, because men's like trousers have like the ball slap dampening fabric, right?
Yes. Let's just say yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
okay.
So
Okay.
we can move on from this
So
as fast as possible.
so gentle listener. That's why Wibb couldn't hit the balls.
Yes. I tried, but I didn't feel like dwelling on it for too long.
Well, I mean, you try for the first like, you gave it a good go, because I was like, you can't get nut shots. I got the achievement really early on because I'm really good at hitting moving targets. But, you know, you're not used to the format, so... The last time you played a Sniper Elite game was Sniper Elite V2. And that was a horrible video, don't go back and watch it, it was the worst.
Was I playing it in that video?
Yeah, you played it in that one.
Really?
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
I don't even remember.
Yeah. Because I basically already completed it at that point, I think. Because Sniper game, Snipe, it's... Yeah. I kind of gotta. But no. I don't remember.
So is the game good?
Yes, the game is a lot of fun. I mean, I can't really give a proper explanation on single player because I completed it with a mate. So the storyline is hilarious. It's very cute. I don't fucking care about the storyline. I want to shoot the badman.
Shoot the badman.
Is there also melee combat in it? Can you punch the Nazis? Because I've heard punching Nazis is a great thing to do.
It's a fantastic use of time, but you can't punch them, really?
Okay.
You have like a melee takedown.
You can stab them in the back of the head.
So you kind of grab them by the back of the head and you shove your knife into the nice soft part under the jaw. Ooh. And kind of stuff like that. Or you stab them in the back of the head, wiggle your knife around a bit. Which I guess you could say that's punching them with a knife.
Okay.
Knife punching. Yeah.
Knife punching? You see what I mean? But yeah, mainly you want to engage like long range.
Yeah.
My biggest problem with that is the vehicles. I can't figure out. Like my mate, he had to do everything.
Or you have to shoot.
No, you got to shoot them.
Oh, okay.
Because there'll be like little vents, I think, where you can shoot the driver. It depends on the depends on the vehicle.
Yeah.
But you get like big tanks and shit, and you get the little APC kind of things. Which I can never remember the names of because I'm just bad at that stuff, but that's okay.
Half-track.
Yeah, one of those. And like there's a mission in like this deserty area because it's like set in Africa. Shock horror, there's a deserty area where I ran to the top of the sniper's perch and I kind of flattened down. I was saying to my mate, I was like, I can't really do anything about that big angry tank. Could you do it all for me? And he did, like a trooper, because I just cannot deal with vehicles. You
just shoot the big glowy fuck me lights.
Every time I do, it just doesn't do any. I don't know. They're like dogs in video games. They scare me and I want to run off. They're terrible. But no, it's like you send me like there are frequent parts where they just send like waves of enemies at you.
Yeah.
Those I'm in my element. That's perfect. But you send in a vehicle and I'm like, no, that's not for me.
Maybe you should try and go through the game again in single player.
I'm going to, yeah. Just to kind of, because multiplayer is going to fuck up the balance pretty hard.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, I do like games like that when they are multiplayer and you can just play cooperatively through a campaign. I do always really like that, because sometimes there's some games where you might not necessarily want to... Like, you might enjoy them, but you might not particularly care enough to go through, like, a full single-player campaign. But if you've got someone else with you, then you can pretty much plod through most campaigns.
Yeah, I mean, I think there was only one thing we didn't do, where... There's one, I think it starts where you're being artillery shelled, so you have to run through, basically, explosions.
Okay.
And we got to literally the last hurdle, and it... Like, I can't remember... I fell through, like, a glitch in a bridge.
Oh.
And then it started us at the beginning of the fucking map. And those missions aren't short. They're quite arduous, quite long. Which is fine for a sniper game. So it spawned us at the beginning again, underneath an artillery shell.
Oh.
So the moment we respawned, I got incapacitated because I got fucking exploded. And he was just like, mate, do you want to maybe not do this? And I'm like, yeah, let's just not fucking do this.
I mean, if you're playing these things in single player, you can save scum in Sniper Elite 3.
I mean, I don't want to, because, I mean, unless it was that mission, because fuck off. But otherwise, I'm like, yeah, I'll be fine.
And I guess now you'll have to be looking out for whenever Sniper Elite 4 is cheap.
Yeah, I've heard that's fantastic. Like, apparently, there's a big problem with Sniper Elite 3 where you have, like, glass ankles. So you drop, like, 2 feet, and the guy's like, ugh, my pancreas! And just fucking can't deal with it. But in Sniper Elite 4, you can fall way further.
Hang on, so 3 isn't the new one?
No, 4 is.
Oh, I knew there was a new one, and the last one I played was 2, so I just presumed that 3 was the new one.
No. Yeah, Sniper Elite 3 is from about 3 years ago.
Oh, shit, I completely missed that.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed the second one when I played that.
Second one was good. I mean, I'd say, like, 3 versus 2, 3 is definitely better.
Okay.
That's really, really kind of perfected a lot of the things and the mechanics, and I think it's a lot more comfortable to play.
Yeah, cool. I have to keep an eye out.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it was on sale a little while ago, but I mean, Steam.
Yeah.
It'll be on sale again soon.
Yeah.
Played some Freeblade.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Now this is the thing where people might think that maybe I'm overreacting, because from what I've heard, Freeblade, because it was originally a mobile game, Warhammer 40k game for people who might not know.
I can give some opinions on the mobile game in a second because I've actually played it.
Yeah. I have not played the mobile game. So I've just played the PC port, which drove me fucking nuts. Legitimately, I really do not like that game. I mean, as a mobile game, I honestly couldn't tell you, because I hate the mobile kind of free to wait kind of thing. Because oh yeah, you can craft this, but it'll take you this long, or yeah, you can do this every 12 hours, and I'm like, I don't think that's okay. But
yeah, for people who aren't aware or might not have seen the video we did, Freeblade is a free-to-play, what could probably be best described as a third-person rail shooter.
I'd say that's fair.
Where you play as an Imperial Knight in the Warhammer 40,000 universe, and you just blow shit up.
Yeah.
And the missions only last a couple of minutes, and you get like an Angry Birds style 3-star rating at the end of them.
Because mobile game.
Because it's a mobile game originally. And yeah, so they made a PC port, and it's only... As far as I'm aware, I don't think it's on any other platform than the Windows Store.
Which, in and of itself, drove me fucking bananas.
Oh yeah, that's a pain in the arse.
That made me cranky.
Because the way it's... If I remember rightly, it's something weird, like... There isn't like a defined executable in the programs you download through that. So there's nothing for most recording software to latch into.
No, so we had to start recording the desktop and then boot it up.
Yeah, if like you can record it with something like Shadowplay, because you just start the recording of your desktop before you boot it up, and then it'll work. But if you try and record it with something like Fraps or OBS, it just freaks the fuck out, or it either won't do anything or will record at such a terrible frame rate that it's unusable.
Well, that being said, I don't blame Freeblade that much for that, because this is the Windows 10
Oh yeah, that's nothing to do with Freeblade.
Because it's dreadful.
Yeah, that's just the overall system that it's using. But the version of it, the port, has been ported properly, so it doesn't like have that dumb bullshit where it'll sit there and say, oh, tap to begin. Yeah. Like, because I've seen quite a few ports like that.
Which is, to be fair, that's already above most mobile ports.
Yeah, so it has been properly ported, but the problem is, because it's been designed for mobile devices, it's so basic. It's point at the things and shoot them until they're dead.
Well, I mean, to be fair, you could describe, like, FPSs like that.
Yeah, so I mean, Sniper Elite 3 is technically pointed at the things.
That's kind of, yeah.
Until their testicles explode.
Yeah, if you can hit the jiggly things.
But the difference is that you at least have this manoeuvring and tactics involved there, whereas this is more just a case of... I mean, I guess the swapping out of what weapons to use and to manage your cooldowns of those weapons, that's the actual tactics of it, but it's largely just press the button, press the screen, the bad men until the bad men go away, you know?
Yeah.
At least, like, rail shooters, you know... A lot of them used to be, you know, you'd have a light gun, there's an abstraction there to add the challenge. Mm-hmm. Whereas when you're just literally, you know, pressing or clicking on the screen, it's not really there. But of course on mobile devices it's not so bad because, you know, I'm going to say a shocking thing that may be controversial.
Okay, embraced.
Mobile gaming is a cesspool of shit.
Oh no, how could you say such a controversial opinion on our gaming, quote-unquote, podcast?
Yeah. There are good mobile video games, but all of the ones that try and be more elaborate end up hitting the basically the same kind of things of going, these touchscreen controls do not work. You need real buttons, which is why you can get like peripherals to add buttons to phones.
That makes me laugh. It's like, I like my phone games because of their portable convenience. Also, let me unwrap my fucking controller.
Yeah.
Plug it in on the fucking track. No, mate. Stop it.
Like, it's a lot of looks like the phones are quite little powerful things, so they can run quite elaborate games. And if they just had a better control
for like
scheme.
The 10 minutes the battery lasts.
I mean, like strategy games and things, those can work because it's not about like getting like feeling like feedback of pressing buttons and things. But
I did play the Sonic because a bunch of Sonic games on the.
Where they ported
free to play.
Yeah.
You have to like watch an advert in between like every level, but the controls on that kind of suck.
Yeah. Because you want feedback of physical controls.
Yeah.
And it's,
if I go out, I'll buy.
That was horrible, but Freeblade doesn't really suffer so much from that because they just made it so simple that it's fine. And like playing the mobile version, it does work a lot better because the really basic gameplay is fine. It sort of fits in more on a mobile device.
It's very simple.
But yeah, the microtransactions are kind of bullshit. They're just everywhere.
If I had to use a word, I would say egregious.
Yeah, because I think the best microtransactions on free-to-play games are what I would kind of refer to as where you discover the microtransactions organically. So say something like Warframe, which is a good free-to-play game.
It's a very good free-to-play game.
Where you beat a lot, so you beat a load of things before you even, before you even think about giving money to them, and at a certain point you'll just go, okay, so I've built like however many Warframes you can have by default. I think it's
remember. 3,
but I might be misremembering. And then you want to get a new one, and you're like, okay, so how do I do that? And then you go, okay, how do I do? I've been given all this stuff, but how do I do it? And then you kind of look through and find out how to get it, and then you go, okay, so I have to buy another slot, and it's like, okay, like it's still microtransactions, still feel shitty, but I feel that's.
But the thing is, like, I don't begrudge giving my money to the devs of Warframe because they've made a very solid game there, very crazy details in there, like with the crafting system and all that kind of stuff. That's nuts. But I think they've earned my money.
Yeah, exactly.
Very much. Like they've obviously put a lot of effort in to make it a good game first, and then basically it feels like they've got a little thing in the corner that you can see, like you can go to. That's like basically their tip jar.
Yeah,
that's how it feels.
That's what I'm talking about. Is that you play it and then you've had your good experience with the game, and then suddenly you're like, okay, this. I want to do more with the game. Now I need to pay some. Okay, whatever. Yeah. Whereas something like Freeblade is the exact opposite of that, where after you've played the introductory mission, it's just, oh, do you know you can spend money on this?
You should spend money on
this. Hey, here's the store. Oh, hey, we're going to lead you through tutorials of things that normally you wouldn't be doing because you'd have to buy things in order to do it or get premium currency. Or, oh, you've beaten the first few missions. Oh, here's lots of full-screen adverts for things you can buy in this game.
Yeah. I'm not a fan.
That sounds great,
yeah, it's like, that's EA levels of kind of, like, whoring out the shop.
And, of course, what happened in the video was a particularly bad example of why it feels worse. So, we got to a point where we had to go through a tutorial when you had to build something with its bullshit currency, because
there's fun bucks and then there's premium currency.
Yeah, you have your currency that you get, and it's just the crap currency that you get loads of, and then there's the premium currency. Well, we had something where we had to use the crappier, smaller currency, but we didn't know that we were going into that tutorial right then. Like I played through it on mobile, so I knew that tutorial existed, but I didn't really think about it because I didn't know when it happened. I didn't commit too much of the game to memory, And so you'd spent your money
on some like just like a cosmetic.
Yeah, I think it was a colour.
It was like a colour. It was a trim. I spent money on a trim
because there's very little paint options to begin with.
Yeah, so anything to kind of not just be grey or green.
And so when it got to the tutorial, we didn't have enough of that currency to do. Now, that's not a big deal because you can just go back and replay missions at any time and get more of that. So, no big deal. But the problem is, because it was like a locked-down tutorial, you couldn't back out of the tutorial. You couldn't click any other button to, like, say, I want to replay an old mission. The only thing you could do was either quit the game or buy currency.
Which it didn't tell you. There was like just enough or best value. Those were the only two things, and it didn't tell you how many like weird bits of currency you got.
Oh yeah, it just told you the price of them. It didn't tell you how much you got.
Yeah, it didn't tell you how much you got.
But it was that's sort of the bullshit thing of that. In that instance, nothing worked except allowing you to bypass this broken thing by paying them money, and that's really bullshit. Now, if you just quit out the game, then you can go and do another mission and get currency, which is what we did. But then we went into it. What's supposed to happen is because it's a tutorial one, and it's one of those games where you've got to wait for several minutes for anything to happen. What it wanted you to do was you'd pay the currency, and then it'd say, "Oh, you can skip the wait for free for this time because it's the tutorial one." But I think because we had to back out of it halfway because of it not communicating what it wants,
Yeah.
it meant that we had to wait. So we literally had to wait there for 2.5 minutes with nothing happening.
Yep. That really did not do well to endear itself to me.
No.
Funny thing, in that instance, we couldn't have even paid money because what you can do to skip that is pay 1 premium currency. We had 10 premium currency, but because it was such a lockdown tutorial,
It
we
wouldn't let us.
couldn't even skip it.
Could not even skip it.
Like, we couldn't even do the thing that they would want us to do.
No.
So, yeah.
So, I mean, I'm very anti-microtransactions anyway, and I appreciate that, like, mobile gaming is a different kind of beast to PC gaming. It has to be. Of course it is.
Oh yeah, people do not like the concept of having to buy a game on mobile. It's
No,
so that's why
and
everything's full of microtransactions.
that's why everything's microtransactions. And so I've uninstalled so many games. I remember I installed one game on my phone, which was like, it came up like after the tutorial or something with, rate it 5 stars or like I think or like buy something from the shop. I can't remember, but it basically wouldn't let me do anything until I clicked rate 5 stars. So I was like, guess who's uninstalling?
Yeah.
The amount of times I've just uninstalled games for that egregious bullshit.
Yeah.
It's just...
Ooh, that's really bullshit.
Yeah, I was just like, no. I wish I could remember what it was. Shit, I can't remember, but yeah. So, yeah, Freeblade has a lot of the do nots.
Yeah. I mean, if it constantly badgering you for microtransactions doesn't bother you, and you're playing it on mobile, it's an okay time waster.
I can imagine it'd be quite fun, because like, the levels last like nearly a minute. And like they have like fucking 3 checkpoints in it.
Yeah.
And it's definitely for like on the move kind of game. So yeah, maybe consider not giving them money to positively reinforce that kind of abhorrent behaviour.
Yeah, and to sit down and play it at a PC is just a bit weird.
Oh,
it's not got the depth to...
I don't know why they put it on the PC. That's the worst.
Did they just want to put it on Windows phones for all the 4 people who still has those, and that's all part of the universal Windows thing?
Oh shit!
Is that
maybe.
why?
Yeah.
Is that why they did it? Maybe.
But I mean, it was specifically made to work with PC, so it was like, it was ported to work with the mouse and
So you
keyboard.
see like a mouse and stuff.
yeah.
Because that was my initial thought when I saw it. Is this just here so it will work on like Windows tablets and things?
Yeah.
But no, it was it was properly ported to work with a desktop machine with mouse and keyboard. So
I'd say I'd stay the fuck away from it. I would recommend on PC, but on the mobile you might have some fun with it again if constantly begging for your money doesn't bug you.
it is an interesting thing where some games just don't work. Like, even though physically, there's nothing stopping it from being on another system. The moment you do, it just loses something, or alternately gains something. Like say for example, if you take any strategy games, they used to put strategy games on things like consoles, which they don't really do very often anymore
Because they were horrible to play.
We're talking like RTS style strategy games, to be clear. And like those don't really work very well unless you've got like a mouse and keyboard kind of setup, because they just work really well with that. But you put them on a console and suddenly they just feel really bad. But the game itself is no different. It's the same game, just...
It's the context in which you are receiving.
Yeah. Also, that's also the sort of game where, sitting at a computer like for many hours sort of feels natural, whereas sitting at a console and playing those things for several hours just doesn't really feel the same. Yeah. But so Freeblade,
it's definitely a program you can download.
Yeah. It's okay, but with many caveats.
Yeah.
And most of them involve not playing the version we did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, apart from that, there is the whole Dungeons and Dragons thing.
Oh, the Dungeons and the Dragons. Yes, we've had a game.
Yes, after a bit of a wait.
A bit of a wait.
Yeah.
I've been clawing the wall. Seriously, like, I'm starting to worry that playing like every weekend would still not be enough for me. That's worrying.
You just want to live the character.
I just don't want to be myself.
Oh,
It's a bit real.
that's
It's a little bit real.
Sorry, my humor's gotten really fucking dark for that moment. I apologise. Well, no, it's fun, and especially considering I have crippling mental health problems, which, again, that's okay.
Yes,
it's horrible, and it's not very nice, but no shame. It's just fun to have someone else's problems to deal with, because it is a novelty.
No, I get
so
that.
pretending to be Nathan for like 4 hours a week is a holiday from myself into someone else's neurological bullshit.
So, So, Matthew, would you like to introduce what happened, like the setup for the adventure that we had? It was last weekend, I believe.
Yes, you're the DM. You got to go,
See
dude.
if I can remember what we did. I struggle enough to remember because I prepped it for when we were meant to be doing the session like a month previously, and then it kept getting moved, and then I got to the day and I was like, well, I've already prepped. I don't need to do anything, right? And I was like, oh god, what's happening?
That's fine.
Yeah, it went surprisingly smoothly considering. Took a little while to get into it for me. It was a bit of a weird one. I sat there just being like, is this enough to make them interesting? Have I done enough? And I was like, I'm sure they're having fun. But I was like, I don't think I've done enough.
No, we were having fun. I think it was just hard to readjust.
Yeah.
Because it had been so long since we played. So it was hard to ease back into it.
Yeah.
But once we did, it was enlightening.
Oh, yes.
Yes. See, I remember that.
Yeah, so...
I wrote down like a report afterwards.
Yeah.
Because I like doing that. I'm a massive nerd of like, today in D&D, Nathan drank a lot and then called the dwarf an idiot. Ooh, it was interesting, and that never happens every fucking time we play.
Yeah. So the general thing was that we were trying to get a book that our wizard wanted. It's like part of her arc.
Yeah, like
her
she
like main
hasn't-
motivation is to find this book.
Yeah, she hasn't really said anything to us about it, but she, apart from the fact that she really wants this book. This book is the ultimate. This is the new hotness.
Yeah. And we'd been told that it was at a local library. So we go to the library, and there's all the guard outside, and
There's the guy who's like owns a library just freaking the fuck out at the member of the guard there who just could not give less of a shit if someone fucking paid him, honestly.
I'm trying to say, because wasn't his name like Symes or something?
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't have a name until you asked what his name was. So
Was that in any way based on Samuel Vimes?
Possibly, if you think I'm clever for doing that, yes, it was.
Okay, wow, that was really clever, Drama Matt.
Because he's like the commander of the Watch in the Discworld books.
Yeah, and then we went and saw Sergeant Blarat, and yeah.
Yeah, no, it was from my list of names at the back of my prep book thing that I've got.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yes, it ended up being oddly similar to something from the Discworld.
Yeah, which was fun.
Oh, great. Okay, no, that was completely unintentional.
Wow, nice one, DM.
But I'm glad.
But yeah, so the book had been stolen that we
Yes.
were after. And we were told that they'd caught one of the people that had stolen it. Now, they'd gotten away, but this one was left behind. He was like a kid. So we ask if we can go and talk to him to try and find out some information so we can maybe try and find out where the book has gone.
And
So-
because it's like a petty theft of a book no one gives a shit about, they're like, okay,
Yeah.
sure.
So we go there, and we're trying to work out, like, we're going to do good cop, bad cop, but we didn't want to, like, all go in at once.
I got to be the bad cop.
So we didn't want to go in all at once, because, like, 4 people, that's, like, good, bad cop, and I think that would be a bit overwhelming.
Good, very good, bad, very bad cop.
Yeah, to be fair, that would have been hilarious, but maybe it wouldn't have yielded
You see, the
any results.
morality of cops is a spectrum.
Yes.
Um,
So there's like chaotic good cop, lawful evil cop.
but we were going to go in groups of 2.
Yeah,
So
fair.
we decided to go in groups of 2. So if one of us had if the first lot like strike out, then the second lot can go in and maybe amp it up a bit.
Yeah.
Now the first group to go in was Sora the wizard and Snipe's character Nathan go in to do their good cop bad cop routine.
I'm the bad cop.
Yes, Nathan was going to be the bad cop.
They say was gonna be. There's a good reason for that.
So he goes in and
He's flexing. He's kind of like leaning on his. He puts his foot on the bed and he leans on it and he glares at the guy because he's just a fucking idiot.
he's like a 18-year-old, so he's like relatively young and
Yeah.
seems very.
He's staring a hole in the floor because he's like super nervous and just feeling really bad about himself and stuff.
Yeah. And so Nathan's trying to be intimidating and
Not doing a very
not
good
really
job.
doing a particularly good job. Like, not like.
I have proficiency in intimidation and I'm always fucking it up.
But then Sora, who was being the good cop, like sits down next to him.
She puts her hand on his shoulder and she's speaking very softly.
She's like,
You're in trouble, aren't you?
you're in trouble. I understand, but you've got to realise that this lifestyle you're leading is only going to lead to upset, and it's going to end with you at the end of a rope.
And like doesn't the kid at this point, he kind of like looks up at her and he sees this dragonborn. And he's never seen a dragonborn before. And he freaks the fuck out. Because she's basically going, you're going to die horribly. Choking, gasping for breath. You'll probably, like, dig a few of your fingernails into your throat trying to remove the raspy neck, like, the raspy bit of rope from your neck. You don't want that. And she's trying to be fucking comforting.
Yeah, she's trying to be comforting and explaining that his choices are going to lead to a bad place, so he should do better. But all she was doing was describing how he was going to die.
Yeah, and then
so
like,
it just came across as just threatening.
So Nathan was like, I've got to be like, I've got to help. And the only way I know how, which is not very well. So he leans over and goes, hey, Sora, have you been fed today?
Oh, before this, actually, yeah, because just before you jumped in, I got Sarah to do a, to see if what she originally said worked. And I was like, make an intimidation roll. And she's like, you mean perception, right? I was like, no, intimidation.
No, intimidation, we were terrifying.
She was like, oh, okay.
Like, she didn't realise she was being so threatening to this young man. Like.
Yeah, who's sitting there going, I'm sitting next to a literal monster.
So, yeah, carry on. You jump in.
Yeah, like, then I lean over and I go like, have you fed today? Basically making out like, we're gonna feed you to the Dragonborn unless you give us the information we want. And he's visibly distressed. Like, he's freaking out. He's stuck between a fucking idiot and a terrifying dragon lady who's talking in graphic detail about how he's going to die. And then our rogue, she kicks in the cell door, walks in, stares direct eye contact, locks eyes with this boy, and goes, hang on, I actually wrote this down. Give me a second, I need to read this out.
It does need to be read verbatim.
Yes. So our rogue kicks in the door, locks eyes with this young boy, and goes, a dragonborn can devour a fully grown adult whole, given adequate lubrication. She says that. This kid fucking shits. He literally shits himself. Like, I think Ash must have done fantastically on his roll or something, because, yeah, the kid just fucking... His bowels are evacuated?
Yes.
And then he basically leaps at Nathan and just starts, like, sobbing. And Nathan is sat there with this sobbing little boy in his arms being like, I was supposed to be the bad cop.
And yet you're the shoulder that he cries on.
He's, like, gripping onto me so hard, like, I'll talk. And then, what was it, Drummer Matt? What were the exact words you said? I think it was, he between his tears, he starts at the very beginning, from as early back as he can remember, and tells us every bad thing he has ever done in his life. Like, every fucking thing. And we're just like, oh no.
You see, I was
expecting a hardened criminal.
I spent this entire, like, encounter standing in the hallway just witnessing what was happening. Like, just like, I'm glad I didn't go in there. Mm-hmm. I think I like, once everyone had...
Because I was like, oh, Sora, doesn't Talus have a big bag of meat outside? Basically, get her the fuck out. Just go away. The kid's fucking terrified, and so she's like... Sora's like, yes, the meat. I hope it's bloody. And then she just kind of leaves awkwardly, kind of reeling from the fact that she was more intimidating while she was trying to be nice than I was. So that was
that's when I went in, and I actually used my decanter of endless water to do something useful, to give the young man a drink.
Okay.
Which kind of made you shit yourself a little bit, because you assumed that I was going to douse you in water, because that's what normally happens when I get
every time you get that thing out, you hurt Nathan with it. So like, it's like, oh yeah, I walk in and I get out my decanter of endless water, and I'm like, fucking what? Now? You're gonna do this now in front of the kid? And you're like, calm the fuck down. I pour him water. I'm incredibly uncomfortable at this point, thinking he's just going to just fire hydrant me into the corner.
But long story short, we get information from the kid that says, you gotta go. There's this church on the outskirts of town.
It's full of the badmans.
Full of this like gang that I've got involved in. They're bad people. I just
That's a name we've heard before.
Yeah, he just didn't really have anywhere else to go, and he kind of just got in with a bad crowd. And so we're like, okay, so if we go to this place, then that's probably where the book is. And there's also some description of some weird things in the basement,
like weird creatures that he's scared of. So.
But we haven't got that far in the adventure. And so we're like, okay, so tomorrow morning we'll go out and do that.
So we head out to this church on the next day.
There is the tiny little thing where, because my character, though he is a barbarian, I effectively role play him as a bard. So because it had been a while since we'd done so, and we were stopping over the night, I decided to play a bit of a gig. Except my character was a little drunk at the time. So I get up and try and play a song, which I think the one that I said I was singing was "Hungry Like the Direwolf."
Something stupid like that.
I think that was the song I said, but I played it so atrociously badly.
You rolled like a 2.
I rolled a 2 on a performance roll, so I did terribly. And then when I went and sat down, Snipe's character Nathan was ribbing me about my terrible performance, which I was like, no, that's fine. That was a bad one. But it was like, you can do any better. And
I was like, I'll give it a go. So drunken Nathan gets up and he starts singing, "Hast thou ever fallen in love with someone thou shouldn't have?" Which is a reference to a song Wib played like in one of the first couple of adventures. Because he's got a big list of like ancient kind of like punk songs that he's basically... Yeah. So I stole one of those. I rolled like a 16 and did really fucking well. With penalties, might I add.
And then you got me to like roll a dex roll, so I was able to, on muscle memory alone, be able to join in, despite being a little worse for wear.
Yeah.
And so we had our own little duet.
If you could call it that. The rogue's also been like, she's put in an order for a fucking an accordion at a music shop in town.
Yeah, I reckon we can be like give it a little while, and I reckon we can get a travelling band going.
We need to get Sora like a triangle. So, ting. Something, because Nathan's obviously vocals.
She can make the like pyrotechnics.
Yeah.
She's just gonna accidentally spray the audience with acid.
Yeah, that is what she likes to do, actually.
Well, our rogue's a bit obsessed with acid as well.
Yeah, he's like, I could attack with my knives or swords and get like all my sneak attack bonuses, or I could make an objectively worse attack with acid.
Yeah, it's like okay. I could do that, but I want to hurt people with acid. It's like, dude. That and Sora keeps us trying to like barbecue all of us.
Yeah.
So she'll be at the back behind all of us and goes, I cast like, I can't remember what it is, but basically like a flamethrower, like a breath weapon she has. She's like, I'm gonna cast flamethrower, whatever the fuck it's called, and we all turn around like, could you maybe not?
And her solution quite often to that is amazing, because it's not let's not do this, it's let's go and stand right next to the big guy with a big axe.
They do it in his face.
Just do it straight in his face. I'm like, yeah, it's brave.
It's like, even as bad I am, like, when I cast Shatter, I, like, before the fight, I'm like, when I tell you to fucking drop down, cover your ears. And then I'll get in and then I'll fucking scream and explode everything after I give the signal. But Sora's just like, hey, everyone. I'm like, dude. Could you fucking not?
So we had so after we had our performance that night,
we pass out at the bar.
So we the next morning we head on out and we find this like old abandoned church where this evil organization is supposed to be holding out. We kind of have a look around it. There seems to be no sign of life. We kind of think, okay, so we heard from the description that there's a lot of people there, but they're also recruiting people. So maybe we can just literally just knock on the door and say we're interested in joining your organisation, and then we can get a bit of a get
a bit of a tour, maybe take home a brochure, see what kind of like benefits they've got. Dental,
have a bit of a look around. There was a logic to it.
It was the only real kind of idea we had. It was like, fuck it, we're probably gonna end up killing everyone anyway.
So we knock on the door and we don't hear anything, and we're like, okay. Then Snipe chooses to knock really loudly on the door, and I think, was it you shouted something like, "Hey, like, can you open up? I really need to use the privy."
Yeah, that was one of them.
To which made one of the people inside actually pull back the little
who the fuck is out there?
Yeah, the little hatch like at the door, and like go, what?
Yeah. So he was kind of like, fuck are you? It's like, hi. Because, like, I was basically, like, my character was in the mindset of, we act really stupid, then we won't look like a threat. So he was like, hi, can we join your secret clubhouse? And he was like, hang on. And then he opened the door for us and was like, come in. Obviously something is up.
Yeah.
So we go in, and Nathan's like, hi, can we join now? And then he shuts the door, and he's basically like, hey boys, come fuck this shit up. And we're
It's
like,
fresh meat, boys.
yeah, and we're like, mate. Ugh. So Sora, she literally just kind of like blows a hole in the guy, immediately killing him. She's just like, dead. He's gone before he hits the ground. She is fucking fearsome. And we're like, shit. And there's like 6 other guys,
Yeah, I think 6
including like a
guys,
captain.
yeah.
There's like 4 of us. And, you know, your character doesn't actually landing hits.
So there's like there's like a bunch of just regular guys. I think that they were just bandits, weren't they?
Yeah.
Like
Don't get meta and deconstruct.
no, I mean like you know from what they actually were, it was just bandits. So yeah, we were dealing with the individual ones, but there was a big one, like a bandit chief or
big
whatever.
bald man.
And so I was like, yeah, I'm gonna fucking have him. So I run at him. I throw my hand axes at him, which so far have got an absolutely 0 hit ratio.
You've not hit a damn thing.
I have not hit a damn thing with them yet. I should probably use those javelins that I've got that I always forget I have.
You've got them in like your back pocket.
Yeah, because the hand axes don't have much range, so you're pretty much always at long range with them.
Yeah, but like I'm a dwarf.
But it's cooler.
Yeah, like if you were told you can throw a javelin or a hand axe, what are you going to do?
Yeah,
You know?
hand axe.
Yeah, what if you kind of like tie them to the end of your javelins?
Hey, that's a thought.
Yeah.
So
You're making
So,
cowbirds.
yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah.
Yeah. So whilst everyone else is busy blowing holes in, shooting, or throwing knives at the rest of the guys, who
Throwing
kind of-
acid, I think you mean.
Well, yeah, throwing
Talos
acid.
fucking hates stabbing people and like getting attacks of opportunity. She's all about the acid throwing. Sora's at the back trying to kill us all.
So I go into combat with this chief, like bandit chief guy, and he was quite tough.
He had like 3 attacks.
Like
So
what
he
was
had,
it?
like, two like main hand attacks and then a dagger.
Yeah.
And that was fucking stupid, and I hate him. I'm glad.
Well,
he's
what
dead.
was it? I think like my character has like 46 HP.
Yes.
And by the time I'd got to him, because I'd been shot with an arrow, and I think that took like 7 HP off me. But then another like 18 HP was taken the moment I got into combat with a guy, and he just wailed.
Yeah,
on
this
me.
guy was pretty fierce, honestly. And there was like, because it was a big church we were kind of fighting in, and like there was like the other 5 guys were quite a way away.
Yeah.
So they were probably about 60 feet away, because I could just about hit them with a couple of my abilities. But they were fucking... Because I was, like, right behind you, I think?
Yeah.
I was behind you. And you were engaged in direct combat. And then Talos got behind him, and it was, like, me just trying desperately to murder everyone who was far away.
Because they were firing arrows into
Yeah.
combat.
Which, well, that wasn't going very well for us.
Yeah, so what did one of them do when he fired it into combat, Matt?
So yeah, the captain guy was rolling really well. The bandits
He
were rolling.
crit Johnny.
Yeah, I think he got a crit off on you, which is why he took so much damage off you.
Yeah.
On one of his hits, and he hit with a lot of his attacks. The rest of the bandits weren't rolling so well. He's shooting into combat and rolling like multiple critical like fails, like ones and things. Which isn't really a thing. It's always a miss, but I don't think it doesn't necessarily mean something bad happens. But I mean, sometimes if you keep rolling so badly,
Yeah.
You have to kind of roleplay what's going off there, really.
yeah.
So what did that poor little shooter, like, do?
He shot his boss in the back of the head
Yeah.
because he was trying to shoot Talis, but Talis is quite small. You know, it's
Yeah.
quite slender.
She's quite agile, so she's moving about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
And
just,
he's not.
hits him right in
He's
the back
just
of his
standing there
chrome bone.
wailing at you with a giant axe or whatever he's got.
So I use this to my advantage, because I use Dissonant Whispers on the guy, which is a warlock ability where you kind of like invade someone's mind and kind of just harass them and freak them the fuck out, and it hurts their brain or whatever. I decided that, because we made a bunch of jokes going, oh yeah, no employee of the month for you, So I was like, my whispers in his brain, as I'm shouting in his mind, is all those hours you spent scrubbing boots and sucking up and seeing this guy as a father figure and wanting employee of the month, they're out the fucking window. You have no one anymore. You have nothing. So the guy runs away.
You see, now this is interesting because I inadvertently was metagaming a bit here. Because I'd worked out what HP these guys had. Because I don't offhand know. Because I didn't know that they were just bandits. Offhand, it's only after the game that you told us what they were.
Yeah.
But I'd worked out that they had either 11 or 12 HP because the first shot that killed one.
Well, no, I killed two with Shatter.
Yeah, you did. You murdered two of them with Shatter.
I got 17 damage on that, I think.
But the first one that was killed with 12 damage. So I knew that they didn't have more, that 12 was the absolute maximum they had.
And with Dissonant Whispers, I did like 10?
You did 10 damage, so I knew that they had either 11 or 12 HP. So then when that guy who had taken 10 damage came back, and then you hurled some volley of eldritch nonsense at him, well, I didn't say anything. I wasn't going to tell you.
I just pointed at him and started screaming, like, ah!
So I'm just sitting there and going like, honestly, this guy could trip over and he's going to fucking die. He's got at most 2 HP left.
The funniest thing was, though, he comes back in really sheepishly without his crossbow. It's like, yeah, mate. He pulls his sword and kind of tries to sneak back into the fight. I think I hit him with Eldritch Blast, and he just kind of... I did like 7 damage, and that basically just made him explode. Because that was it.
But yeah, so the other guys got whittled down by little bits of attacks. And yeah, you, early on in the fight, like a bunch of them were in one place, so you shattered them and just insta-killed like 2 of them.
Yeah. I rolled really well. I was quite surprised.
You actually did well in combat for once.
Because Nathan's not usually... Because I've got like -1 to my initiative, which is like 9. I didn't get hurt either.
Yeah, I got hurt a lot.
Yeah, that guy had such a hate boner for you.
Yeah, but we did eventually take the guy down because he had a lot of life.
Well, yeah, like I think we got very lucky because he botched like twice. Towards the end, he tried to hit you and dropped his weapon.
Was that
was just like thank fuck?
Were you rolling multiple ones there again, Matt?
Yeah, he has 2 weapon attacks and he rolled a 1 on the first one. So he's like, okay, well, he turns around, he goes and swings it the other way, and then rolled a 1 again on his second attack with the same weapon. I was like, double critical fail on with the same weapon attack. Okay, he's caught it on something.
Yeah.
So
and you weren't really hitting him.
I think I was gradually doing bits of damage, but it was everyone else hitting him over and over again.
And you started taking less damage as well once you actually started to rage.
Because you got not like that. Yeah. That's a gameplay thing. He didn't get really angry at the table, start threatening the DM.
So I wasn't just going to pop my rage straight away because I was like, well, I don't know how tough this guy is going to be. It might not be worth doing it. But then once I got half my health taken off me in one turn, I was like, yeah, I probably should take this damage reduction thing.
Mm-hmm. But no, you eventually got it.
Yeah, like when he dropped his weapon, like I made a point to kick it away. So I was like, I want that. And then I think I actually managed to roll a crit. Like
you took him down with a crit. He was only on about 4 or 5 health at this point or something, and you critted him with your like double-handed axe thing.
It's about sending a message, etc.
Which I quite like because you asked me specifically, like, what did I do?
Yeah, it's something that I've been watching some of Critical Role, and it's something that Matt Mercer does on that one, who's the DM on that. When they take down like
Matt Mercer is a goddamn
someone who's took quite a while to kill. Whoever gets the final hit, he'll ask them if they want to describe
how
they do it. So
Dude, I love it.
Yeah, I think it's really quite a nice touch, I think.
Yeah, especially because the way you explained it was so fucking awesome and cathartic. We were just like, fucking yeah, you bastard!
Yeah, it makes you feel, so I described it as like, because what I wanted to do was, I was like, I want to hit him dead centre of his head.
Right in his face.
I want to see how far I can get through cutting this guy in half. That was my thought process. I want to know how well this will go.
That might sound horrific, but we were fighting him for a while, and he was a beast. We were done.
Well, the thing is, he wasn't that bad. It was just that opening gambit was so damaging that it really...
Yeah, he rolled well on that first one. He rolled almost max damage on like all 3 of his attacks in one round.
Yeah, so if that had been anyone else in the party, we would have been saving against death.
Oh, it would have killed like a couple.
It would have killed probably a couple of us.
I think. Well, how much health does Nathan have?
He has like 24.
So yeah, that would have in one turn he would have lost all his health.
That would have killed him. Yeah. Well, he would have fallen unconscious.
Yeah.
And been saving versus death. But yeah, fuck that guy.
Yeah. But yeah, so I said, yeah, strike him in the middle, and then you, Matt, gave this wonderful description of like,
Oh, it was good.
of the
very
axe just
good.
kind of burying deep into his skull, and like Talis, who was sitting behind, just sees
This gets covered in this guy's blood.
like his head erupting, and there being blades pointing out of his head where blades should not be. And the guy kind of slumps down, and then I get
He
through
falls back and Talis has to move out the way.
I get to do the badass thing of then kicking him off the edge of my axe, and it was like, yeah, that getting to describe the final blow does really make it feel
it's
like
good.
more of a victory.
And then I completely ruined it by leaning over to our wizard and going, hey, bet you he imagined him as a door. To which Johnny basically turns around and goes, now is not the fucking time.
Turns
He's
around and
like-
says that while like putting his foot up on the guy's shoulder, pulling the axe out of his head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Nathan's like, that's fair. Okay.
And then I go and do what I normally do after a battle, which is go and retrieve my hand axes from the corner of the room where they landed.
Yeah. Yeah, that was fun.
that
But
was,
I did rob the corpse and I found a nice key, so that's going to be fun.
But that was all we.
We'll be finding some sexy lady goblins in the dungeon that we can come and help out.
But yeah, that was the end of that little
Yeah.
adventure for that day.
Yeah, we've left it at the short rest.
Yeah.
Yeah. So hopefully I'll be able to grow back some of the chunks that were cut out of me.
He fucking hacked bits off you.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
So that should be interesting. And yeah, we'll go and hopefully try and get the book the next time we play, which might be a few weeks now. So,
Yeah, I reckon.
Yeah, I think it's just over summer. People have got stuff going on and things.
yeah.
I hate adults where they have things to do that isn't D&D.
It'd be good to get back onto the sort of regular every other week thing.
That would be very, very, very good.
Because we only really had that for like the first couple of times.
Yeah.
But no, it's been going
Yeah.
well. And speaking of like Critical Role and stuff, I've been watching Matt Colville on YouTube.
Oh, okay. I recognise
like
the name.
this-
Give me a reminder.
He plays with Matt Mercer as well. Like I've just finished a video where Matt Mercer comes in and starts shouting at him
Okay.
because he's a lot more severe of a DM than Matt Mercer
Okay.
is.
Yep.
He doesn't give people as much quarter. So like he will actively taunt his players. That's how he
Okay.
plays his games.
Right,
So
fair.
like he does like a thing about knowing when to retreat in a fight. And he was like, players don't ever want to retreat, but when they realize they need to, it's usually too late.
Yeah.
And he was like, so what I usually do is I'll outright taunt them. I'll be like, yeah, you can run away if you're cowards. And then Matt Mercer comes in and goes, you can't fucking do that! You can't taunt your players! What is wrong with you? And I'm just like, I am so on Matt Colville's side here, I like it.
So let's wrap this thing up.
Yes!
So thank you very much for listening, people.
Thank you, and if you want to talk D&D, go for it, because I could talk about D&D all day.
Well, how are they going to talk to us? They're not on the podcast.
No, they're not. But they can leave comments that I can look at and go, and then never reply to because there's just too many comments for me to reply to. Stop leaving comments.
Don't
say that.
Why are you telling that? Yes, we want you to leave comments. Comments are helpful. They
Okay, leave a comment about how you don't think leaving comments is a good idea.
Email your comments to specifically Drumblebee
maybe-
at snipeandwhib at gmail.
Specifically Drumblebee, AT, not the at symbol, at snipeandwebplay
Yeah.
at gmail.com.
We'll deal with them appropriately then.
Oh my god, okay, everyone, if you want to talk about D&D, email that email address and just shout at specifically Drumblebee
Yep.
at snipeandwebplay at gmail.com.
Is this one of those things that if we do actually make it, I have to put it in the description because there's so many subtle variations of that that have been said throughout this, no one will know what the real one is.
Okay, so check the description for the email. Also, if you want to ask us questions or propose stupid fucking things for us to discuss, send it to that address as well.
Okay. I think we could have maybe arranged such a thing in a slightly more
No.
sensible manner, but
No.
you know what?
No, this is so us. It's completely incomprehensible and just arse backwards.
It's the worst way we could have done it.
Which is how we do things.
Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye. Have a good day.
Bye.